Dr. M. Subbaiah is an assistant professor in mathematics in L.N. Government College, Poneri. He has specialized on statistics interdisciplinary. Being interested in active research program and mathematical or statistical modeling, he has knowledge in operating various softwares on statistical tools and on technical computing. Having 16 years of teaching experience, he has published papers in 8 national and international journals, and has also presented papers in 10 national and international conferences.
Welcome to UGC lecture series on mathematical sciences. So, this session will be devoted for presenting or summarizing the data for a statistical analysis or a statistical purpose altogether. So, why do we require such presentations? And what is the need for summarizing it? Normally, the data collected for the purpose of understanding how a global variable, or what we call it as population, behaves based on the sample. So, basically we try to understand the important features or characteristics of the data collected. Though the collection of data started with a objective, clearly stated objectives, once the data is collected in a big format with the help of computers today, we are able to store tons of data, but a quick understanding of the data description is not possible unless it is properly formatted or properly presented in a summarized way. Statistics theory or theory of statistics helps even for visualization the data in a more clear form for the user. So, this session is completely concentrating on few of that aspects, not full, because in my opinion this particular area of study is not completely science. It is an art partially, then science, because it needs our idea of presentation, the combinations of various colors, we could say, the shape of the diagram figures we try to start with, or any other animations, any other way of presentation is typically possible. So, this session is not an exhaustive list of summarizing a statistical data, it is only a starting point for how to start and an important aspect to be to be followed while anybody is attempting for summarizing a large chunk data sets. For example, I will let you know the various formats for the summary in tables and graphs or diagrams or figures, whatever the word we could say interchangeably. The way in which we are going to summarize the data in these two broad areas are going to be discussed. The discussion is not to give a very theoretical background, which is not possible. In fact, as I told you, it is not completely science, it is an art. It is the user to understand your information very much carefully, legibly, and he has to get the inference in a first sight. So, there are lot of magazines, lot of newspaper we study in our daily life. Instead of reading a page long report, a picture would speak more than 1000 words. You could see immediately what happened through a picture, then you go for more details if you are really interested on it. So, a table or a figure or a graph is much more quicker to get inference from the report, from the data collected or the information given, than anything for that matter. Those who are going for further details, definitely they have to go through the descriptions of that particular or the details of that particular report, but an initial glance is easily representable in these two formats. Therefore, once again I emphasize that this is not a grammar, this is need not be. In fact, there are certain rules and certain important aspect, but not so strictly. You can be free little, but the presentation should satisfy the customer or the end user, so that they understand what you try to say from that. That is what the last point here. Okay. So, anyway, we are not going to give much importance for that today in this session, but this is also important when you try to put any summary for that purpose. I mentioned already, because we need to analyze the data, we need to interpret the data, why you have collected and does it make some sense, and effective communication, that is more important. So, data or collected information are the bridge between the researcher and the user, between the investigator and the user or the community at large. Therefore, we need to have a very clarity or a clear objective first of all, and then put it in a proper frame, so that the society or the user will get a clear communication from what you intend to say. So, that is the purpose of this idea. So, once again the data types are very much important. So, a quick revisit for that, we must know the difference between categorical and continuous discrete, the terminology related to ordinal, nominal, binary, that is dichotomous, or more than two, we call it as polytomous. Say for example, salaried, self employed, not salaried. So, there are more than two categories for my classification: educated, I mean school level, college level, high school level, and then research level, more than that. So, education level can be characterized, grouped in a set of 4 or 5 levels or 4 or 5 categories. So, these are all very much important. So, I could say general rule, but it is not very much hard and fast, but it still it should be simple as possible. Graphs, tables and charts can be used together, there is no need to separate them, and clear descriptive titles and labels, you should say what they are about, so that a reader could easily understand from the titles and the labels intended for. A narrative description of the highlights, it is needed, which might be included in the title, and comparison of variables with the different scales of magnitude should be avoided. Too much of clumsy, too much of too many variables grouped in the same picture. So, a reader cannot understand easily. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Following slides will quickly get into the way. Few tables and few diagrams are generated from software. So, what I am going to do in this session is very simple. There are basically many data sets available nowadays freely from internet. You can download tons of data, I could say, in a typical scale units of measurement, it could be a terabyte of data, no problem. You can get freely, so that these exercises can be manipulated through a proper software, because for handheld calculations these things are little difficult, and the available computers would help us to get the tables more and more clearly, easily, and without much error. That does not mean that manual calculations are not possible, it is always possible, but when you try to do with such a large data set, need not be small, because more number of variables we need more information, I mean more numerical values or variables, maybe numerical or non-numericals are needed to reproduce these kind of contents. Therefore, my presentation contains those kind of two illustrative examples and the various tables and graphs for that. So, the rules, as again I try to say, it is not hard and fast, it is not science. Wherever possible, we try to label the components of the graph, indicate the source of data. Nowadays, it becomes very much important, because you need to say what is the origin of the data. Is it your own data collected in a primary way, or a secondary data set wherever you have borrowed, and add footnote if more information is needed, because the title should not be too lengthier, so that the reader is not interested to read, or he or she may not be able to understand what we try to say. So, give them footnote if you want to elaborate your titles, if you want to elaborate the column header or row header in a table. Then interpreting the data adds meaning by making connections and comparisons to program. That means, wherever possible give interpretation also, what the table try to say. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, the last part is not directly discussed today in this session, but anyway these are all the parts, or at least a list of rule generally to be followed. Quick examples. As I mentioned you, these are all examples which I just collected from any data sets or typed for our convenience. This is a tabular form for summarizing the number of admissions against each year, maybe from 2001 to 2004 in a particular branch of study. So, this is just, it gives you number of admissions. What is the problem here? I am not providing you the positive side of do's, I mean do's. I am trying to say mainly don'ts. This table is totally not providing the complete information. You are not giving a title, you have not mentioned whether the number of admissions made in a department or made in a college or made in a school, nothing. What reader could understand? Your report might be different, but your enumeration in your summarization in the table is not so informative. It lacks lot of information, so that from the table only the specific audience could understand. Those who are dealing with such a number of admissions in a specific school of the researcher, they can understand, rest of the people do not. Therefore, source of the informations are not there. So, these presentations are not just to throw away the various kind of tables, it is mainly to list out possible don'ts, what you are not supposed to do. Then rest of them are lying with the way we try to decorate, we try to enhance our presentation style. This is a art, we have to imbibe that art, so that our presentation should be to the maximum. So, this is an example what could be done to enhance the presentation. Similarly, here also, but slightly better than the previous one, at least it gives some proportion what is a corresponding increase or decrease compared to the previous year, and relative frequency compared to the total admissions for the first 4 years. So, once again it lacks. So, deliberately I have not mentioned any title and so on, because to indicate these kind of tables are lacking those characteristics, so that the tables are not standalone or self explanatory, which is the first point which we need not or we should not do that. A table should be self explanatory as far as possible. It may not be 100%, but at least. So, you have to be careful. So, many examples which I can show you, none of them have that. The idea is to note down what we are not supposed to do. So, similarly, the admission data is now split into two, male, female. So, these are all the various ways the same information can be given according to the problem of interest. So, this data is a simple example to illustrate what mainly not to do. The next example is basically covering my data set, deliberately presented with so many data points. You could see here there are only 12 variables, that is not a big issue, but there are 4 lakh data points. So, each variable has 4 lakhs information, may be numerical or non-numerical. How to understand them? The following table provides you the way the data are being collected. Source string means non-numerical, STL something numeric, and of course, I want to say that my intention is not to give the details of the variables and what is the problem and all. My intention is to say what are the different variables and how we going to summarize them. Therefore, we need not bother too much about what is the all these things about. Okay, this is something collected on a roadside traffic. Okay, traffic flow source, it is a string, non-numeric, data, date. So, that is also being collected as a string, because it has a special characters slash or a hyphen, etc. Then time unit, and time unit is morning, afternoon or etc., or it may be peak hours, non-peak hours, anything for that matter. Then daytime, destination of reach, flow direction, the number of lanes, 4 lanes, 6 lanes, 2 lanes. Do you have intersection, yes or no, and intersection might be coded here for a numerical purpose. So, the quantum of the variable or quantum of the data has been given to you in the slide. Once again, I would like to emphasize that the data is collected with 4 lakh data points. It might look a very large number, but as far as the problem is concerned, it is not really so, because in a traffic flow might be collected over a period of 6 months or 7 months would easily reach this number in a highly dense to a metro city. So, reaching 4 lakhs for a traffic data in a metro city is not a big deal. Even a month data or even a 15 days data would count to this 14 lakhs. So, getting a 14 lakhs or sorry 4 lakhs is not at all a big deal in the problem of interest here mentioned here. The problem here is this 4 lakh data should be summarized for the user in a more easier way to understand what are all the variables and how the data can be read through first of all. That is the first and foremost important aspect when you present such a big data set, as I told you in the illustrative data set number 1 with which has 4 lakhs data points. So, how to present and what are the various ways of presentation, let us discuss after a small break. Welcome back to the session. So, with our data set with a large number of data, I recollect that it has 4 lakhs, but hardly 12 variables. That is not a big problem here or an important issue. Now, you take various tables for that matter. So, this 4 lakh information is just put into a small table of 1, 2, 3, 4 variables, traffic flow source. You can remember there are certain variables, based on that only I am collecting the summary. So, this is a simple summary for the entirety of the data. Traffic flow source, which is characterized as categorical variable, classified as high, less, very high, very less, which has these many numbers, and quickly you get a summary that there are more percentage involved in the high. This is a cumulative. There are a lot of mathematical requirements, statistical requirement for various variable. So, the purpose of doing the calculations are not directly involved in the discussion, it is just to say you the quick summary. So, in the data collected, the more percentage, that means 29% is highly populated, dense. Therefore, we can easily understand that the data is collected on a very high dense area of traffic flow. You could see high and very high literally cross 50% of the share of your entire data set, 28 roughly and 29, okay, more than 56% altogether. So, you can easily understand that this is a zone of high traffic area. Then this is a one variable I have taken. The second example is taking time versus traffic flow source. So, time is non-peak peak, which I mentioned already. Traffic flow source already we have taken high, less, very high and very less. Do not bother about the order in which it takes, the software is using the alphabetical order, that is not a big deal. Therefore, it may not look in a very natural ordering, very less, less, high and very high, and all these things are not at all important for this kind of presentation, but it would be better if we maintain the order also. Anyway, now you look at the numbers are split based on peak hours and non-peak hours. So, the earlier table just to summarize the high less traffic flow, now it is split with peak and non-peak hours, one more variable involved in the problem, that means the time, whether time is involved or time is important to understand the traffic flow. We could understand that peak hour traffic is much more than non-peak, but sometime it would be the other way also. If you take for example, a vacation period in a say for example, in a shopping zone where traffic would be even very high even in a non-peak hours. So, it is a way the researchers are interested in dividing these kind of variables. Therefore, not necessarily we can attach the very general meaning for this kind of variables. So, one way of table, a 2-dimensional table, this is 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional. Now, let us look at 3-dimensional. Third variable is included, flow direction, traffic flow source and time. One way, do we have high or less in a peak and non-peak hours. So, if you could understand that this data for that matter 1 lakh, nearly it is 50% here, nearly here also, here also. So, non-peak hour and peak hour does not make much difference if you look at the subtotals. Okay. So, invariably the totals are like this, but if you look at the grand total 1 lakh and 3 lakh. So, here the ratio is in a different scale. Therefore, the way in which the subtotals play the role will give much more information when you split up in one way and two way. So, here it gives roughly around 2 lakhs, here also roughly around 2 lakhs. Therefore, the traffic sources are quite important when I take the row total rather than the column total. Then one more way of splitting up is the fourth dimension. I am able to increase the dimension, number of lanes now, flow direction, then time, then the traffic flow. So, the tables are quite convenient to read now. In a 4 lane, in a one way traffic, it is a one way. So, we have 304 compared to this 578. So, two way flows are nearly double than this one way flow. So, even in the very less direction, you could see the very difference here in a 4 lane category. Okay. So, the numbers are now quite easy to carry, easy to understand how the data set being divided. So, the total is not being put here, it is only to show you how the dimensions are playing the role to display the table, starting from one dimension with different variables, I mean levels of variable, then 2 dimensional, 2 variables with the corresponding levels of classification, 3 dimension, 4 dimension, any number of dimension you can increase. All this depends on the one and only question or the objective, how good my presentation should be, how the reader is easily understanding my problem or my information. So, these are all simple examples generated through a software. It is a process by which we can put it in a very simpler form. Manually, we have to consider any frequency labeling or coding, so that you can classify the variable, put it in a summary form. Sometime a continuous variable like STL1 included in the example, it is a continuous variable, but I have characterized from 1 to 10, 11 to 20 and so on, then the corresponding frequency, a one dimensional table is presented. Then comes the graph or the pictorial representation. Table is one form of summary, where you can have the tables in any dimension, required dimension, which would give you the summary of the given data. But why do we need a picture? As I told you, picture speaks more than words, even sometime tables also, especially for a comparative purpose. So, you can see a quicker understanding that high and less are more or less equal, very less is very much less in fact, okay, compared to. Therefore, the traffic zone is a high traffic zone. Quickly we could understand the sudden decline here from the very look. So, your naked eye would see or could give the inference, depends on. Now, the various days of the week is classified. So, the density of the traffic on Friday, look at every level of the traffic flow. Friday peaks. So, Friday is the dominating traffic day. Even Sunday, as I mentioned you, even sometime holidays would also contribute more traffic. We cannot expect. Middle of the week, this is a natural expectation. Middle of the week contribute the lowest part only, So, this is the pattern we could understand easily. And peak and non-peak hours, a 2 dimensional table, you can remember the 2 dimensional table is projected in a picture. So, how the non-peak and peak are, as I observed already that peak and non-peak does not make much difference in the data collected area, which is quite evident from the diagram also, irrespective of your traffic flow sources. And this is another chart. So, various charts are provided for a quicker understanding. Pie chart is also talking about a similar characterization, but a word of caution to use pie chart is, if the levels of classifications are more, avoid pie chart, it will be clumsy. So, pie chart is a very much elegant mathematical principle. Circle is divided for the corresponding quantum, you could understand the bigger share 116, 115 thousands, 56,000, 111,000. So, you could understand the way in the circle 360 degrees divided. So, if you have more than 4 or 5, it is not a number, strict number, but be judicious to put the data in a pie chart. Do not take a data or a variable which has a more classification in a pie chart, therefore, reader cannot understand some tiny differences. So, this is very evidently classifying the 4 zones here, therefore, I prefer pie chart, I am not compelling, I prefer. So, the another illustration is again the concepts of variables with just 21 variables, but you have 3000 and odd cases. Look at the variables nature. I specifically collected this set to have nominal, binary, count variable and so on. This churn is nothing but the changeover characteristics. I am switching over characteristics. So, these are all the variables of a phone user. Okay. This is a phone mobile user data, and churn means whether my customer is changing from one brand to another brand, brand X to brand Y, that is what we call it as churn, switching my brand. So, this is the characteristics of the user. Each user is being collected from the state, account length and area code, whether he is having mail plan, how many calls he is doing, how long he speaks, what is the charge. This is the count variable, this is the metric variable. How long he speaks, how many calls he speaks, there are a lot of difference between these two. So, the summary is given in a different plots. When a metric variable is provided, we need to understand its different characteristics, different summary, so that the plots are not typically like what we have seen earlier. This box plot is given mainly to understand the day minutes, how long the customer is speaking with classified by international plan, whether they opted or not. So, so the distribution is more or less similar, except very much extreme values are presented for the customer who is not opting initial plan. So, this is an extreme values are plotted here. So, this box plot gives you the way in which the continuous variables are scattered or distributed, okay, whether it has an extreme value or the mean value is in the middle and etc. Another option for such a variable is again histogram, the same variable d minutes is given with d charges, day charge for example. So, a normality is expected for a continuous variable for various statistical calculation, histogram is an option for you. Then the comparative box plots can be put, whether the customer is opting voicemail plan yes or no with 2 different colors, then do they have this kind of distribution here. Then sometime 3-dimensional charts can also be used for voicemail plan and international plan are compared, but whether such graphs are representing or expressing the information clearly to the user. So, this diagram says international plan yes and voicemail plan yes are very much less in your data, who are more actually the people who have opted no international plan and no voicemail, they are dominating your data set compared to other classification. So, this is quite better, international plan no, but voicemail plan yes. So, this will give you an idea for the data collected for the entire customer base. I do not mean that it is only 3000 odd customers only, but it may be a smaller population, it may be collected during 1 month or 1 day even, how the customers behave in a particular day or a month or anything for that matter. Sometime we need to compare 2 different variables, for that also these kind of metric and categorical difference exist, and there are certain diagrams useful for that. This is for continuous variable age and experience in years probably, age is given in in so much of years. So, this scatter diagram shows you a pattern by which they are related. Naturally, when age increases, experience is expected to increase. It is not a strict rule, but it is expected to increase. Earlier the age may be 21, you may join in a job. When age increases, naturally the experience should also increase, unless a condition by which you are terminating the job or whatever may be for that matter. This is more variable, experience, age and some NT and AD, similarly here also. So, that a scatter matrix will give you the relation between experience and AD, experience and NT and so on. So, either the lower part or the upper part is necessarily needed not both, because this is the same experience versus age is what age versus experience. So, it is up to you us to consider any kind of the direction. Summarizing our observation, once again I would like to emphasize that this discussion is not exhaustive list of tables and graphs. It gives you an idea, especially to focus on the things to avoid when a table is presented, when a graph is presented, so that we are more cautious in presenting our data collected in a vast scope. Two illustrative data sets have been given, so that how the data are generally collected and then how they are going to be summarized in the right form, either in a table or in a graph for a visual treatment, easier to understand, easier to interpret. So, interpret for in an appropriate manner. So, once again the summary is to give you the idea that for metric data, these are all the summaries normally expected, based on that our graphs should be. These are all the non-metric data for which we are counting, or we may be interested in maximum. The graphs are showing you the maximum value, what is the minimum value, and what is the range in between them, a lot of other things we could understand from the graphs. So, this exercise is intended not to copy the value simply and then present. This is an illustrative exercise again. So, I would like to show you the question here is not to repeat exactly what this data set is providing, a large data set, but as I mentioned in the beginning, there are lot of sources available. Likewise, you can collect data, that is what the intention of this question, and then use your idea to present the data manually or through any computational tool available to you. The summarizing the data in a more judicious manner is emphasized in this discussion. As I told you in the beginning, let me emphasize again that maybe 50% art and 50% science will help you to present the large volume of data in a more and more clear, easier, understandable, representable form. That is what being discussed in this session. Thank you.